There is not a liberal America and a conservative America. There is the United States of America.
A new vision will govern our land.
Our job is not to divide. Our job is to bring people together.
By the people, for the people, and of the people.
Our youth has power.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Border Talks. Border Talks is a video podcast by students in the TAMIU Political Science Association dedicated to exploring the political impact of ever-changing current topics. With an understanding that even the most personal matters can be political, we aim to explore how issues ranging from the most seemingly insignificant, absurd, or serious subject matters can affect our border town through a nonpartisan, student-focused perspective. So on today's episode, we'll be having Mariana Rodriguez, who's the TAMIU student body president, and we'll go ahead and start by introducing ourselves. So as per usual, my name is Ceci, and I'm your host. I'm the president of the TAMIU PSA, and I'm joined here by...
Hi everyone, my name is Juan Barrera. It's been a long time since I last was featured on an episode, but I'm glad to be here. And I'm currently the Vice President of PSA.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Mariana Rodriguez. I'm very excited to be here. This is my first time being in an episode here with the Political Science Association and their Border Talks. I am a senior majoring in business administration with a concentration in marketing, and I am also the student body president.
So woohoo, we're super excited to have you here, and congratulations, of course, on being our student body president. I'm excited to see what your work will be looking like in the future. And so for today's episode, we specifically wanted to talk about things that are kind of going on in TAMIU, especially with this upcoming semester. So to start off, I want you, if you could explain your role as TAMIU president, and also give us more information on the CARES Grant committee, like the chair position that you currently have.
Okay, so first of all, I'm going to start by saying that the TAMIU CARES position that I have, it's the Student Emergency Services Coordinator, and that's like a work position that I have like in my office, the Office of Student Conduct and Community Engagement there at TAMIU. So there are two separate things, but I can, of course, explain them both. So as TAMIU student body president, it is my role to be the voice of the students, to represent their ideals and to fulfill their needs and wants. How do we do this? By doing several activities, by doing events, by being representatives in certain committees in the university, such as, well, I participate in the Executive Council, which is a council with Dr. Arenas, Dr. Ramirez, like everyone, like all the president, the VPs, and the directors, like everyone that might have something to add or present, like goes there, and we talk about several issues, situations, concerns. I am the only student, so it's sometimes a little bit difficult to, you know, like express everyone's opinion, you know. But I do try. I know that last meetings, I asked like 4 or 5 questions and everyone was like asking one or none at all. So I do try my best to demonstrate that students are speaking and they're not only speaking, but they're yelling, that they're asking for questions, for answers. They need the answers to specific things. I know graduation is something that was really, I guess, concerning. It was really sad. I am very sad that that's happening. I know some of my friends were very excited, especially the first generation students. But hopefully, like, we're gonna get to do something and recognize that accomplishment. So I guess that's as for like the student body president. TAMIU Cares, my position is to help the case managers prepare for whenever they're going to receive the case. So I help them. I also help with the promotion of the grant itself. So if you have like any questions about requirements or eligibility and or something like that, like I'm your girl, like I'm supposed to be the one helping you with that. So it's your time to ask away because I have most of the answers. And if I don't, like, of course, I'll get back to you so that you can share with your audience, because I think it's important to share the message and, you know, not only like the message, but the information. And I'm glad that you all are doing this, because I think since it started, like, it's helped so many students and it's helped so many people like have a better understanding of what's going on, not only on campus, but in our community. So I'm just super like thrilled to be here. I'm very, very, very excited.
And we're super excited to have you here. I love this energy, let me say that. But so now that we are on that topic of the CARES Grant, could you explain to us who is eligible for the CARES Grant?
Okay, so basically, eligible students would be students that are eligible for Title IV. And so what the frig is Title IV? Title IV is basically the type of assistance that you receive from federal like departments. So if you receive a financial aid, you might be eligible. You also need to be an enrolled student for the semester you're applying. Let's say you were eligible for, like, let's say you're enrolled for fall, but you applied in summer, then you're unfortunately you're not going to be able to receive it. You must be a citizen or an eligible non-citizen, so you can be like a permanent resident or something, because it is federal money, so we need to be very careful with that. You need to be, it's for students. Okay, so if you're a student that it's enrolled in an online degree program, exclusively online, then you're not eligible. Right now, I've received this question. Okay, so what if I'm taking an online class and all of them are like flex or face-to-face, but I'm taking an online class? Then you should be fine, because it's not an online program. Some examples of like an online program can be the Master's in Public Administration. I think there's another one, the Master's in Business Administration and Management, I think. There are several. If you go to our TAMIU CARES page website, you're gonna get more information. And I think basically that's what you have to take into consideration. Also, if you are eligible, you will be receiving an email with more information, like how to apply, what expenses are being considered, what else, like deadlines and everything. And hopefully it helps you all, because I mean, I know I applied because I'm also a student. So I applied summer session 1, I believe. And so I think it was from summer session 1 to summer session 2, there was like a transition on how things were dealt with. And I think it's also because everything is changing in our community, in our city, in our country, in our world even, that, well, some things the federal government and like along with collaboration with TAMIU, they've had to change. But we are trying our best to notify you all about the different types of grants that we also have, because TAMIU CARES is one, but there's also like the Regents Grant, the LBB grant. I know there's another one. I think there's another one, but I can't remember the name. But we do have several. I think it's a student emergency grant. We do have several, so you just need to be on the lookout. If you don't apply for one, you might apply for the other one. We are really trying to help the students. In some cases, it is very difficult because they don't provide the documentation, and we cannot give the monies if they're not giving us the documentation. So let's say that you put, I am in need of food insecurity. I need to pay my utility bills and my school expenses, and you didn't put anything for utility bills, and we cannot help you with that. It is a bit complicated, but I think at the end of the day, it's just to help the students, which is always, well, at least for me, this is always my goal. So I just read, because all the information is there. Like, I personally, when I see like a long message, it's like, oh, here we go again. But it's okay. Like, it has important information that we need to read. So sometimes it's like, okay, Mariana, like, you need to read this, like, because people are going to come and ask you, so you need to read this. Yeah.
Right. So as far as those who are eligible, they'll likely be getting that email, correct?
Yes, so if you are an eligible student, you will be receiving the email. Right now, the email, we're still like working on the details, but we're hoping to be sending it around mid-September for this fall. The thing with the grant is that we cannot send you the link to apply before school starts, because we need to make sure that you are enrolled. And so if you are enrolled but then you drop, then we just need to make sure that when you drop and if it's like, if you're still going to be counted by the state, and it's a lot. But yes, we are always checking and pulling out reports. Yeah. My last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it's been CARES only.
Yeah.
So I've come, like, I'm here in my house, and then it's like, okay, I need to check like CARES, like, what's up with it? Like, what should I do? Like, how can I make this process like faster, easier for the case managers? It's been crazy.
Yeah, but let me just tell you that I'm so glad you're in that position, because I've known you for a couple of years, and you're just always, willing to help people, and you're a people person. So I'm so glad you're in that position.
Thank you, Juan. It really means a lot, because I think we met like on first semester, like freshman year, was it? Or
yeah,
right? And I think it's really nice, the friendship that we've built.
for sure.
And for you to say something like that, I think it just means a lot to me. Thank you so much.
It definitely radiates. We're just meeting now, but
I
I
know.
definitely
We're already best
like
friends.
I'm like, yes, I agree. Go. So as far as the application process, that should be happening sometime in September after this email sent out. And do
Yes.
you have like any like tips as far as like mistakes, like common mistakes you've been seeing like in your office on like that students have been making so that they can avoid those things?
So I think the biggest mistake that students have been doing is not submitting the documentation. I think it's necessary. If you're asking for money, then you need to support it. Like, why are you asking me for $500 if you're not showing any need? So I know that all the times are being like, it's a very challenging time, and I understand that. But if you're applying for the grant, you do need to show some sort of documentation. Again, if it's for utility bills, like, take a picture. It must come out with your name, a date, the amount, some stuff like that. And yeah, I think that's the biggest mistake I've seen. Also, don't assume that because, let's say, Juan was only sent like for one thing, like documentation for one thing, and he received more money than you, like, it's because something happened. Like, maybe he needed more money, because each case is different.
Yeah.
So just remember that, not because your friend is receiving more doesn't mean that you're not going to receive. Like, everyone's receiving what they need.
Yeah.
Like, does it make sense?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Right. I feel like some people might say like, oh, well, I put the exact same thing as my friend. Why am I getting less than my friend? But I'm sure you all have a process to go ahead and look over those things and calculate accordingly.
Yeah.
So then the deadline for CARES for the fall, do we know when that would be?
We are actually, because we're a committee, it's not only like one person or two. We are around 10
Okay.
people.
Yeah.
because I think I am the only student. All of them are like staff. We have directors, like, it's mostly directors. So they need to meet, and right now, because they've been focusing a lot on CARES, they they're pending some other things, you know, like of their regular job.
Yeah.
So they're now focusing on that, but I'm hoping that next week or between this week and next week, we're going to meet again to talk and discuss how are we going to do it? What is it that we're going to change? I know that this summer too, there was a glitch in the system. So it appeared as if you have already submitted your application, but not really. So we're trying to fix that as well. And yeah, I think that's mostly it. We're gonna try to do another video.
Yeah, so we went ahead and we asked students if they had any questions or concerns. So we can go ahead and touch that, later on today. But I believe if you received the grant, the CARES grant during summer session 1, you couldn't get it for summer session 2, right? You weren't eligible. Is that the case for the fall? If you received it in the summer, can you apply for it in the fall?
So if you received it in the summer and you're trying to apply again for the fall?
Yeah.
Yes, you can receive it. Yes.
Okay.
And that is because we're taking it at like different sections. So we have like spring. So if you applied on spring, you cannot apply on spring again.
Okay.
And then we have like summer. If you applied on summer session 1, you cannot apply on summer session 2, or vice versa. But of course,
Okay.
yeah. And then if you apply on the fall, like early in the fall, you cannot apply like later on the fall. Like, does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
If you applied on spring and then you want to apply again in the fall, like you should be fine.
Okay.
At least with the information that we have right now.
Yeah, as of now.
Unless anything happens, and I will let you know.
It'll be on a paper, a long message, a long email.
You'll get the exclusive
I'll try to
here.
read a video.
Yes.
But yes, so if you applied in spring, you can also apply in the fall.
Okay.
Okay, great. So switching gears a little bit, and why the CARES grant exists in the first place is because of this entire pandemic that we've been seeing. And so as of right now, the active cases that we have in Webb County is 5,083, and that makes it so that it's 6,921 positive results overall. And these are all scary things that none of us want to hear, but given that the semester is right around the corner, I wanted to also just talk a little bit about COVID and specifically ask you if you could give us a little bit of insight on how TAMIU came up with the idea of flex classes and what you think they'll be looking like for us.
Okay, so because again, this is an unprecedented situation, the president decided to establish 5 committees. And with president, I mean Dr. Mariana, not like, but so he decided to establish 5 committees to help make recommendations for the reopening of the fall. We had student representation in 3 of them because we were asked to participate in those. The 5 committees were health and safety, academics and learning, student events, student organizations, events and athletics, and communications, and then recruitment, enrollment, and admissions or something like that. Because this is also, we also have legislative session on spring 21. So like this has been just a year. This will be a year. But anyways, so there were 5 committees, and each of the committees presented a recommendation, several strategies that the university should undertake this 2020-2021. They presented it like, for instance, we do have TAMIUFlex, and I think that one started because everyone knows that I personally, if I wasn't working on campus, I would stay at home, right? Like if I had classes, like I would take them at home. I would arrange all my meetings virtually because there's nothing wrong. Like, of course I'm gonna miss you all, like my friends, like my peers, like my colleagues, like going to meetings and like events and preparing stuff that is gonna benefit the student body. And of course I'm gonna miss that, like without a doubt. but I think safety is one of my priorities, and not only mine, but everyone's. So if I get it and I'm like symptomatic, and then I give it to someone else, like, no, I just couldn't. No, I personally couldn't. And I'm sure that some, or I think most of our faculty and staff and leadership, TAMIU leadership, was thinking the same. Also knowing that many students would be like, I'm not going to classes if they're face-to-face, because that's also like okay to do. Again, these are unprecedented times. Anything counts. Like, everything's okay to do. I think that's what they decided to do. Well, I know that's what they decided to do. So what it's gonna be, you're gonna have your classroom, but let's say that your classroom, your class size is like 5 students. Mm-hmm. So usually it was like a small room, right? With yeah, like I think like a really, really small room, like with several like seats, more than what they were needed, all together. Mm-hmm. Now, what they're trying to do is a room for 5 people is gonna look bigger. For instance, I had a meeting this Monday. Sorry. So yesterday, I know, I had a meeting yesterday, and it was around 30 people, and we had it at the ballroom. So in a normal circumstance, we wouldn't have a meeting at the ballroom like with 30 people. Like, I've been on meetings there with 100 people, you know, like 50 or 70 or more than 30, you know. But it's likely that that's how it's gonna look like for the semester, for the year probably. So while the professor is giving the class, he or she is also gonna be able to broadcast it to the students that are at home, that decided to use the Flex, the online side of the Flex version. I also know that the Health and Safety Committee created like a self-reported page. So if you are feeling like any symptoms, or you were in contact with someone that had the symptoms, you can already start in saying like, hey, so this happened to me. I was feeling like da 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 da, and I was in close contact with da da da. Okay, and so all you have to do is notify them, and like I would recommend notify the professor, because again, like if you are really, really sick, you're just gonna stop going and like going to class even virtually. So I think it's better just to let him or her know what's happening. They will be taking attendance, virtual attendance, but yes, attendance. Just try to stay safe. They are taking all the precautionary measures. Like, I know I am wearing the face covering almost all times when I'm on campus. You don't see many people like at the student center. Have you all been to campus since March?
Nope.
No, I haven't.
Guys, super changed. The student center now has, you know how it had like a lot of tables? Mm-hmm. Well, the tables are there, but you cannot use them. They're like on top of the other. Okay. And on Starbucks, for instance, you can, like, there's no sitting area anymore. I think right now you can't go to the library. I think they're gonna open it for the fall. Right now you can't go. What else? Like, now they have plexiglasses on the offices. I don't think they're gonna allow for us to do many events unless we're following the CDC guidelines. I think you need to have 10 people or less per event. So unless it's like a meeting or something, like, you can. If not, just no. It is gonna look very different. But what the committees were trying to do, well, the communication committee is trying to remind the students and trying to remind the university community that no matter what's going on, we're always going to be dust devils.
Yeah.
And together we can do it. And yes, it might look scary. It might be scary because it is scary to know of friends and family that might be going through that. I think it's scary and it's very sad, but we need to rise because that's our core values. And I think that's something that we always do. We rise no matter the situation. And I know that together we're gonna do it. Like we have to. And we're gonna rise, and then we're gonna throw a big party once everything's good.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
For sure.
I've been talking with the president of Greek Council, Joel Caballero, and I told him, like, once this is done, like, we're gonna throw a party. And he was like, yes. I was like, I want to see all the sororities and fraternities strolling in there. And he was like, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, so, going back to students reporting if they have any symptoms or if they tested positive, we actually had a question by one on the Instagram. This one student said, people are scared to test positive for COVID-19, so they don't say anything and continue going to school, disregarding the health of people that surround them. So, I'm guessing she's asking, is there any kind of system, or can you, like, what do you do if you feel like you have the symptoms or you don't want to get tested? Because I know some people don't want to get tested because they're afraid they might catch the virus while they're getting tested. So
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know.
yeah.
Okay. No. So what is gonna happen is that, yes, there is a student self-report form, but there's also one that staff can report, like, students. And it doesn't mean like you're doing like a misconduct or something. It's just reporting,
like a safety.
let you know. To let student health know.
Okay.
So if they see you like coughing and sneezing and like you look down, because it's noticeable when you're feeling sick.
Yeah.
Well, the professor or the advisor or administrator that you talk to will report it. We're also trying really hard to promote that, like that form. I think it's just getting done, like getting the last touches, like the last touches. And then they're gonna share it, and I think they're gonna try to post it everywhere on campus. Also, technically, if you are taking a class like face to face and you're in a classroom, you are gonna be social distance. So technically, there's no way for you to get it.
Yeah.
Technically. So if, let's say, the three of us are together in a class and I'm sick, but we're following the guidelines, then you all should be fine. But we're also going to be having free tests. The system is going to give us around 1,000 per month, so that means around 200 per week. I think Dr. Elena said that they're going to have it around like the KCV area. Again, this might change, but that's last I heard. And they're requesting volunteers for the contact tracing, because that's something that the university, well, not the university, the city hasn't been able to do because of the great number of cases.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why they're requesting volunteers. And also I think it's helpful because there are a lot of students that are recipients of scholarships or like specific programs that actually need hours. So I think this is going to help them a lot.
Yeah, I think I saw a post. They were asking for about like 25 volunteers. Yeah, do you know if they're going to offer, more seats for any more students? Because I know, like, can you get hours for like the presidential awards and everything?
Yes. Every hour that you do a service, of course it has to be like between a specific period.
Yeah.
But if you do it in its service, then it can go as a PBSA. And I know that a lot of us are graduating soon, so just try to get the PBSA. I know I'm like 100 away from the bronze, but we can like try. I know that these are difficult times, but there's also online volunteering opportunities if you're interested. They're on Trailblazers and they're super easy. Like I am a big fan of them.
Yeah, me too. So then the opportunity for you to do hours, even virtually, they're still there.
Yes. So if you go to Trailblazers and then it's gonna be like the page, and then you have like the 5 tabs. You're gonna go to the one that says news, and then you scroll down, and you go to, it says COVID-19 opportunities for TAMIU students.
Mm-hmm.
COVID-19 volunteer opportunities, and then you click on it, and then you have all the information that you might need.
Okay.
They're really good. We have like Be My Eyes. You can volunteer with the Smithsonian, with TED Talks. Like they're really interesting. So you should check.
Yeah. Going back to the free testing on COVID, do you have any idea how students will sign up to get the testing?
I'm sorry?
How students will sign up for that, like for them to get the test?
How soon will you sign up?
Yeah, how students will, like, if they're going...
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think you need to contact Student Health, and then they will help you arrange it. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it would be like through student health services.
Yes. And if you want to meet them, you need to make an appointment. Like if you want to go, you need to make an appointment. Yeah.
So going back also a little bit to, you were mentioning how different campus looks, and I thought that was a really interesting thing that maybe we could just discuss a little bit more. So I'm curious to know how things like the library and the rec will work, because I know I've seen a lot of students, especially on things like TAMIU Student Network, asking like, okay, well, why are we being charged for the rec if are we even going to be able to use it? Or what about the student center? Like if we're getting student center fees, like why is it, or how is it that all of those things will work, and how will basically they get their money's worth?
Yeah, I think that's a question that I see a lot, and I think from part of the administration they should explain it a little bit better. So the thing with the fees, it's a big thing. So with the fees, I know that we pay a lot. And so for the library should, I think it's gonna go back to like their regular office hours, just, like promoting social distancing. And I think every classroom and like study room should have like a set of sanitizing wipes and hand sanitizer. Like I know every office has a hand sanitizer bottle. And you're gonna see signs with like, this is like 6 feet apart, so stay, like you can be here and you can be here. Like I've seen them. Especially also on the elevators, they're not gonna let you have more than 2 people in there, and they're not encouraging conversation like it says in the sign. And it's hard because I think I love to talk. So
Us too.
So yeah, that's for the library. As for the rec, right now it's closed, but they're looking into opening it. I think they're not promoting it right now because they want to see how it goes, but the plan is to have it open, let's say from 8 to 8, and close it twice to clean everything, and then y'all can go and use it. Okay. Unfortunately, that's gonna be, like for the rec, it's gonna be hard because it's gonna be difficult to just be 6 feet apart. But I think, well, I am honestly very glad that the rec is gonna open again because we have a lot of students that work in there. So a lot of them, well, maybe they're without a job right now, maybe they're on pause or something. So I personally am glad that's opening. For the fees, here it goes. It's gonna be a little complicated. It took me a while to understand it. Okay. Going online doesn't mean that it's cheaper, because you need to pay for like the program, you need to pay for not only the program for us, but also for like the faculty and like, and I think that's how they're working with the fees. So the thing right now is that there was not a way At least that's what they told me, because I was like, hello, like, why am I paying for this if I'm not going to use it? And they told us that there is not a way for it to appear as flex. So yes, you're going to see like the rec, the student service, the student center. Well, it's not the student center. I think it's the student service fee. You're going to see the fees. And I know a lot of people will say, well, I'm not paying for that. I'm not using it, like I'm going to be at home. But if we completely switch to online, that's what it's going to be counting. Like, it's a little complicated. It's really complicated. We have the online fees, because when we were online, it said online fee or something like that, right? Yeah. So that online fee, it's technically the same as the fees that we're paying if we were not online.
Okay.
But they cannot change the name online fee to like students, like the other way around. So that's why it comes out like a student center or the rec or blah, blah, blah. But it can be the other one. So technically we are using it, but it's just very complicated.
Just
Right.
different.
I think people are, or students in general, I mean, this is not an ideal situation, and even if we can't use things like the rec yet, or use the library the same way that we used to, although of course even I personally, I'm like, well, why am I paying so much money if I can't go like do the same things I used to do when I was paying this money? I think I understand that there are all of these online fees, and so I think maybe a future episode we could probably get more information from TAMIU. I think maybe on more of the specifics on why it is that it's primarily staying the same. But that being said, I do understand that I am, even if it's not in an ideal situation or the way that I'm used to, I am paying for the education I was getting before, even if it's not with like the perks, maybe, that I had before. I think it makes sense that, okay, well, yes, maybe we're not using the rec, but yeah, we're using a whole bunch of online programs, which likely cost a lot of money to
I
run.
think as for the rec, I know they've also been very active on their social media platforms. So although maybe you're not going to the rec, you could be using their services, and their services, like they cost something.
Right.
And so I think maybe that could be also considered. And I think I completely agree with you. Like it would be interesting to have a more in-depth conversation about the fees. If you all want, I can tell you of someone that can maybe have a better idea.
After.
He's really good. And he was with me when they were explaining us that, and he's more of like a finance, so I think he got it.
Yeah.
But yes, I do understand how it's hard. I especially right now, like I get it, like why do we have to pay? And now, especially because there's like an economic crisis, and maybe people have lost their jobs, or they're not earning as much as they did in the past. Again, I completely understand, but I think it's important to understand like where is it coming from. And I know some of those fees go to like so in order to have like a student organization, like some of that money goes to them. And some of our fees go to counseling as well. So you could use counseling. It's not only the rec and the student center. It's also services like counseling, disability services,
the printing services.
Right, excellent point. Tutoring.
So, yes, and I think those are very, very important things that honestly, if it were up to me, like I would give them more money, like to counseling. I think counseling is gonna be playing a major role right now, because we're living through a pandemic, and this is not something that happens every day. Like this is something that hasn't happened in 100 years. So I think we are going to be needing their help so much to stay okay. And I think there's nothing bad with going to counseling. I think we should push for that, because there's always like this stigma around going to counseling, or going to therapy or something, I think we just need to push a little more for that.
Yeah, and let me just mention that I've used the counseling services at TAMIU and it's amazing. I know I've heard students who they're nervous that their information won't be private or anything. Don't worry about that. Like it's very, very private. You know, you get your own small room with your counselor. Everything, all the information you give is going to be kept safe.
And then let's say you're not gonna go with a counselor, but you're gonna go use the relaxation room. Then that's also part of the service fee. Like there are several fees, and I think we do need to have a better understanding of how they work. Because we have like, I think it's a university service fee, and then we also have the student service fee, and then we have we have the online fee, and like we have several. I know that there's a catalog explaining more information of that. So we should take a look at that, and I think it would be interesting to see how is it explained by either that friend that I'm telling you or by Mr. Castillo. I've been pushing for a town hall with Dr. Arenas and the 4 vice presidents, maybe Grace from athletics, you know, to answer like everyone's questions.
Right. I think there's a lot of, it's like you said, this hasn't happened in 100 years. And like now we have all this technology and stuff. And so even though you would imagine things might be a little bit easier for us to navigate through, this isn't something, everyone says that these are unprecedented times and there's unprecedented solutions. There could be unprecedented mistakes being made, but it's a learning process.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I'm gonna push for that because I think maybe they don't show it like through their social media accounts and everything, or maybe they do, but maybe as students we need a more
reassurance
of but they really care for the students. And yesterday's meeting I was telling them like, okay, so what about this, what about that, and they were like, okay, this and this, and then they told me like, it's not that we don't want to do something with them or do something for them, it's just we're trying to make it as special as possible. When we were talking about commencement, we want to do it as special as possible, and we don't want to take their opportunity from walking the stage, especially because they're first generation students, and they are very reassuring if you go and ask them. So I think that's what we need right now. I think we need the town hall.
Yeah, for sure we need the town hall. I think that's
I'll let you know how it goes.
yeah, I think that's a great idea, especially since, you know, on Instagram people are asking, I got some WhatsApp messages and on the student network because Laredo College, they decided to, I think they're gonna refund their students like 20% back. So now that's a thing that's on the student network as well.
The thing about Laredo College is that as a Laredo resident, you are paying money for the Laredo College. And TAMIU doesn't receive that money.
Yeah.
So Laredo College has more funds than TAMIU.
Yeah, it's a totally different system because we're connected with a chain of universities, you know? And Laredo College, it's kind of its own
monster.
Yeah, so I think it's like, I don't think we should compare like TAMIU to Laredo College because again, they're very different. And so although they are giving the 20%, which is amazing, like you go LC, TAMIU is in a very different situation. For instance, I know TAMIU is like, it's actively looking for sponsors, but again, because we're part of the A&M system, if let's say A&M Corpus has that sponsor, well, TAMIU cannot have it. Like the sponsor cannot like double dip.
Yeah.
So they like, our institutional advancement office needs to be very careful who's on their.
There's a lot of like complex things that go on behind the scenes that a lot of us aren't aware are like going on, and so that uncertainty and maybe I guess not necessarily lack of transparency, but the lack of accessibility to this information, I think, is what would create so much like frustration from students. And we're in a pandemic, like not unfortunately, like things aren't going to be ideal no matter how hard we fight. Like someone's going to be upset.
I think it starts, of course, I agree with that. Like we're in a pandemic, like it's not going to be perfect, but our boat is sailing, so we're good. But I do think that it starts by asking the question if you have a doubt. So you can ask me, you can ask your professor, that then is going to guide, like someone is going to guide you to the answer. That's why I like this program so much, like Border Talks, because you all are giving answers to the students. And so that's why I'm so excited. And I was very nervous also. So like, what if I say something wrong or something that I shouldn't have said, you know? So I think it just starts by asking the question, and not being afraid or shy that, oh, it's because she's not gonna want to respond it because it's so obvious, and like it's a dumb question, and like why would she answer? And you know, maybe it is a dumb question, but I also have like made dumb questions, so it's completely fine.
There are no dumb questions.
Exactly. So I think if you have a question or you have a doubt or a concern, or you're like very angry at something, just really think about it for a second. Try to see who can you ask and who is going to be able to give you the best response, and then I'm sure you're gonna find something that is going to help you understand either like your concern, your situation, your anger, but there's more happening behind the scenes. There's always two truths to a story, and we need to be aware of that, and not just assume.
Right. And so on the note of being able to ask any questions, I don't think there are dumb questions, but I do think there are scary questions. And a scary question that I have is, in the scary situation where we're going to campus and then somebody at TAMIU gets COVID. As far as like the work that you've done in these committees, like has there been any protocols put in place for what TAMIU would do if someone gets infected on campus? And like what are the protocols that would take place if a professor would get sick or if a student would get sick?
So if a student gets sick, again, what the first step is to report it to the form. Once you report it to the form, Student Health Services is going to contact you. And if you have the symptoms and, you know, like the fever, the cough, like difficulty to breathe, then I think they're going to provide you with the test. And then if it's positive, you cannot attend face-to-face classes on TAMIU. And you would have to, you know, like follow the regular protocol. I think it's just like quarantine so you feel better. And then again, I asked this question as well, like it depends on how severe are your symptoms. If you have very mild symptoms, it is recommended for you to continue doing the schoolwork, you know, like the homework, like your assignments and everything, because
from home,
you don't want to miss a semester. Yeah, of course, from home. But if they're very severe, then like you're in the hospital or you just can't breathe, like, you know, then, because of course, like think about your homework later, think of your assignments later, just focus on your health, and then of course notify the professor so that he or she is aware of what's happening. They might ask you for some sort of documentation, so you just have to send it. Then the university is gonna ask for you to provide them with a negative test. So if you take the test and you're negative, you can come back. But again, that's up to you if you want to come back or not. Also, everyone is required to wear face covering in the university, like on campus. If you're not, like let's say I'm walking around on campus without my face covering, like my face mask or a bandana or something, and let's say someone, an administrator or faculty sees me, they're in the right to kick me out of campus if I'm not wearing a mask. And that's also going for classes. Let's say we're all three on a class, and again, I'm not wearing the mask. The professor can give me a warning to just tell me, like, get out because you're not wearing the mask, or he can, or she can just cancel the class completely.
Wow.
And what about student workers? What if someone walks into your office without a mask?
Oh, for sure. You can also tell them, like, I'm sorry, sir, I cannot provide you with service if you're not wearing your face covering. Of course, be like, well, not
Respectful.
respectful,
Yeah.
but you cannot provide service.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure your supervisor will let you know if you're a student worker. They will give you with that information.
Yeah, they will tell you like the process of things.
Yeah, and I know, again, because it's likely that you're not going to be by yourself in the office.
Mm-hmm.
So if they see someone that's looking with the symptoms or like without face covering, they're going to report it or do something about it. Mm-hmm. And then in the case a professor gets sick, I think they're going to look for like substitutes or something so that the work is continued. I think, however, that everything, they're going to try to post it just in case something happens. I mean, that's what I would do if I was a professor. Like, I would post everything, mijitos, this is the syllabus, this is the agenda, what this all have to do.
Yeah.
And
Right. I mean, yeah, these are scary, scary times.
yeah.
And so as far as graduation, do we know like if there is going to be a fall graduation or what's going to happen with like the spring 2020 graduates?
So so unfortunately, there's not going to be a commencement for spring 2020 and summer graduates, like during the summer,
Mm-hmm.
because I know that it was set for August 13th, but
Yeah.
you said like there are a lot of positive cases. The times are very scary, and the last thing we want is create more, like add more into this pandemic, you know? Like what we're trying to do is flatten the curve, not increasing it, right? So it was canceled. Or I guess it was just, yeah, let's call it canceled. So so for the graduates for summer and spring 2020, they're trying, so they're not going to walk right now, but the university is looking into have them walk later when the things get better, that being fall 2020 or May 21. Yeah, so I know that's not ideal. I proposed like, well, maybe they can do like a video, you know, recognizing them, like just like we did with the University Life Awards, something like that. And they were like, well, but wouldn't you want for them to just walk? And I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
They told me like, yeah, it would be either the recognition virtually or have them walk. And I was like, why don't we do both? Like right now, because what if I'm not I'm Mexican and I need to, or from Honduras and I need to go back to Honduras, like, you know? So they just, there's a commencement committee as well. And so they already decided on that. I think, again, they should have student representation, but that's for something else.
Next episode, Queen.
Like coming soon.
Yes.
But yeah,
it's a sad stuff,
it
but
is
it's out of our control.
Yeah.
Really,
and I'm
we can't.
really sad because there are a lot of first generation students that were waiting 4 years or more for this accomplishment, which is it's something big because it's something that not everyone can do. First of all, I know that people that started classes with you are not gonna finish classes with you, like, you know.
Right.
I had a group of friends, right, and now some of them dropped, some of them decided to move, like, you know, like everything changes. So for you to accomplish this, I think this is a huge accomplishment that should be recognized.
Yeah.
So, well, to all the first generation students and to all the graduates, Congratulations, you all did it, and we are also proud of you. Yay! You will be, I'm sure there's going to be a commencement, some sort of commencement.
Yeah.
And hopefully if you're not going to be able to walk, at least there's going to be some sort of recognition for you. I am going to be pushing for that because it's something that is important, you know, like,
Yeah.
I know
Por
that.
las veladas, por los préstamos que sacaron.
I know,
everything.
the all-nighters.
All-nighters.
Yeah, the fights when you were doing like a team project or something.
Mm-hmm.
At least I was expecting to walk, right?
For real.
So, there we go. So yeah, that's what I know. If I know something else, I'll let you know. I know that students that just graduated receives a notification saying you're not going to graduate. I mean, yes, you're going to graduate. You're not going to have commencement. You're not going to have commencement right now, but it's going to be postponed to later on when we can have something.
So it's postponed.
Yeah, technically. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean,
all
that's
walk together.
right.
Talking about graduation, I do have a question here that's asking about, you know, on-campus photo shoots. You know, TAMIU is like a hot spot for photo shoots to take place. So what's going to happen this upcoming semester?
So photo shoots are prohibited on campus.
Completely.
Right now, yes. So if you see someone taking pictures, like, or someone posting pictures like right now, it's because they're like, that's illegal on TAMIU, but they shouldn't be there. For students that just graduate, I know that they're gonna have like I think they're calling it like photo op thing. There's gonna be like a cutout of Dusty, and they're gonna let them take a picture between, I think it was the 9th and the 16th. But I think that's only for graduates, like students that just graduated. But yeah, like if you are just gonna take a picture, like if you like with the professional cute pictures, like I love those, but I don't like, that's just not. And it says there like no pictures are allowed. Like it's there.
So what if there's like someone not following the rules? Do they get fined? Do they just get kicked
that's
out?
up to PD, the police department. Like that's not like a conduct thing or something, because it's open to like the community.
Mm-hmm.
So if PD sees you, like it's likely that
It's up to them.
Yeah.
Like their discretion, basically.
Yeah. They can give you a warning, they can give you a fine. Like,
and would it be the same like with the masks? Like could someone call like TAMIU PD and be like, this person's not wearing a mask?
so for the fine, I mean for the masks, is that is gonna be with student conduct.
Oh, okay.
So if you're not wearing a mask, you're gonna get, I think there's a new, they added it into the student handbook.
Oh, okay.
Special section just
right, and it's my understanding that the city also has it, so people really, like, even aside from whether or not you want to believe there's a literal pandemic going on, like the city also made it a law to have to wear the mask, so it seems silly that we'd see people, but hopefully everyone wears their masks.
Especially students, like y'all need to take care of your health. You know, you got loans out, you need to finish college.
There's a lot of our professors who are older. No tea, no shade. But a lot of professors are older, and you know that's something we want to take care of them.
Right now,
we just need to take care of each other.
With the masks,
mm-hmm.
But I mean, right now we're very, like, it's not that big of, like, it's not a big number of people.
Mm-hmm.
On campus. I'm sure that when we go back to the university, there are going to be some students that are not going to want to use it, either a mask or, we're calling it face covering, because as long as you're covering this, like, you shouldn't be bothered, I guess. I know that Student Success is trying to buy some masks to give out to students. I'm going to buy some for myself because I'm trying to support local businesses.
Right.
But I know that Student Success is going to give some to the students.
That'd be awesome, yeah.
Collaborate with CAB and student government. We're trying to buy around 10,000 masks and just give them to the students. That's like, you have no excuse. You have a free mask.
Here.
Put it on.
I do want to say something. I know some students, they're trying to play smart, and some people, they're buying those, face coverings that have like a net so you can still see their mouth, their skin. If I see you wearing that, I'm reporting you, okay? I'm reporting you. Así.
See, I'm gonna ask because I work at student conduct. So I'm gonna ask if that's on the
Like
hand.
allowed.
Yeah, because technically you are wearing the face covering, so
Yeah. But I'm still reporting you like this.
that's
Well,
a good
yeah. So just one final question that I have is just a pretty broad question, but I just want to know like what you think this school year is going to look like, your maybe hopes, fears, or anything you want to say about what you think the school year is going to look like.
Okay, so I think I've had a lot of time to think on how it's gonna look like. I am a very optimistic person, so I've seen it in the happy years, like no, like by spring we're gonna be perfect, like we're gonna back to normal, the old normal, not the new normal. And then there has also been moments where I've been feeling very, very sad because of this pandemic. I think we all had plans. Some like the first generation students, like they were graduating. Some student organizations were traveling. I know you all had it more. And sometimes like you get to travel. I don't know if all times. I know like the model of the United Nations. They also like, I'm not sure if they're gonna be able to go to Tokyo. Study abroad programs. Like I think it's been again, they're very challenging times, and it's hard to not see the two sides of the coin, like the positive and the negative. There has been times where I felt like, no, like we're gonna be like this for 2 more years. But I think I now realize that yes, it's gonna be different, but different doesn't mean like it's not necessarily bad. I think we need to try to make the most out of it. We're always on our computers and phones anyway, so
Good one.
yeah, like it's true. Like I'm always on my phone, so I think we do need to make the most out of it. I was very sad because it was my, I mean, it is my senior year and my term as president, and it's gonna look, I know, like
Yeah. Like, is it gonna end by like my graduation?
I know. So I think we all had plans, things that we wanted to change, that we wanted to see grow. We had projects, activities. We wanted to do, like collaborations and help the university grow and help the students grow. Because I think for me, yes, I'm a student, but I also want to help the people that are surrounding me grow and help them develop. So that's what I wanted to do with my student government association officers, and not only with them, but with the entire student body, because that's what I represent. And it was hard for me at first. I was not gonna say that I was depressed, because I cannot say that, because I was not going to like a counselor or something. But I was very, very sad until I woke up one day and I was like, well, this is a challenge, and I like challenge. I've always been a fan of challenge, and I believe in God. So like I thank God for putting me in this place at this time, because I know He knew that no one is gonna be able to do it like I do. That no one is gonna be able to succeed as I can. So although this is not ideal, as you said, Ceci, I think we can make the most out of it, and we can make it better, and we can still fulfill our goals if we do it again together, because we're TAMIU, we're family. Well, I feel like we're family. Whenever I walk into campus, it's like I'm home.
Yeah.
Whenever I talk with another student, it's like, oh, brother, sister. So I just think that as family, we need to take care of each other, and just try our best to to help our university and our university community improve. I know that there are a lot of good things coming up. And I think we're just trying our best to keep the morale, keep the spirit, feel proud of that maroon and silver. Because at the end of the day, this is our alma mater. And yes, sometimes you're gonna get mad at it, and sometimes you're gonna be like, oh, why am I paying like $1 million in fees? But it is our home, and I think it's giving us like the tools that we need to be successful students. And it didn't look different, I'm sure. But as I was telling you, like, different doesn't mean that it's gonna be bad. I think we have even more opportunities to engage freshmen or sophomore or juniors or senior students in activities that they haven't tried. There is more chance for us to connect maybe with another organization globally, like maybe Political Science Association can connect with another organization, maybe across the country because of political science. But I am sure that this is going to be a good year. I think that we are going to demonstrate our power, our resilience, and our strength. And it's just a year to
grow.
Yeah, to grow, like to do the things that you've been saying that you're gonna do, but you haven't, like me going to the gym right now. I'm gonna go. Yeah, like I've been trying to not only like take care of myself physically, but also like mentally. Like I'm trying to grow my confidence, and not only mine, but also help others strengthen their confidence. I'm trying to be better at public speaking. So hello, that's why I'm here. So yes, I think this is a year for us to take a little break, and just take a pause, examine and review what is it that we're gonna want to do with ourselves. I think it's easy for us to think, well, I'm lost. I don't know what I'm gonna do after I finish my degree. So what's next? I think this is the time to just reevaluate what we're doing and prepare for what's coming, because it's gonna get better. It has to. Like I don't think there's a way for it to get worse. Like I'm not gonna
I'm on a plastic table. I don't have any wood.
So that's what I think. That's what I'm hoping for it to get better. Again, I'm a very optimistic person. But I am sure that it'll get better. But we do need the help of everyone. So try to stay at home, wear your face covering, social distance, and try to wash your hands and use hand sanitizer and like sanitize everything. I'm even gonna buy the little phone thing that sanitizes your phone.
Nice.
Yeah, like I'm trying to
safe.
Yeah, and not only for me, but for the people that surround me, including my family, my friends, my peers, and even strangers, like people that I see on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Right. And on that note, I just want to say thanks so much for joining us, and just if you have any final thoughts or comments.
Well, no, I think we had a great conversation. I'm just so glad that y'all were able to join me. Like, well, let me join you. I think I talk a lot, so I'm so sorry. I just have so much information that it's sometimes like exploding, I guess. I congratulate you, Ceci and Juan, because this is just an amazing program activity that y'all are doing, a project. I think this is amazing, and I think y'all should continue doing this. So thank you for doing this for the students, and I'm sure that if you continue this path of excellence, you all are gonna achieve great things.
Thanks so much.
You.
And thank you so
Yeah,
much for joining us. Yes, shout out to you for being here, for serving us as student body president. And yeah, thanks so much for having us, for joining us on here.
Thank
and
you.
having us as your
Thank you for sharing, your information, spreading kindness, awareness, and everything. You're such an amazing person. I'm very thankful that I can call you a friend, and well, I'm happy you joined us, and I hope we can have you on here soon. And shout out to Jessica and Alex, the main editors. You do a lot of hard work.
Yes. And on that note, this has been another episode of Border Talks. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, Mariana for joining us, Juan for being here, being great VP. This has been another episode. So bye.
Bye.